Good evening, everyone. DeAndre. Uh-oh. Turn it down, DeAndre. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are all right. Yes, I am on. I tried to get on TikTok. I don't know what happened. Let me see if I could do it this way. It won't go. Saying offline. Anyway, good evening. I have to go on the other way. um, Welcome back to our Sunday evening Let's Talk Autism. For those of you who don't know me, I am Nita. I am one of the admins of this wonderful establishment, and I have to remember how to work this. I am going to put the link in the chat for anyone who wants to come up on the platform. So tonight I thought of a good topic for us. Um, and so there's the question. When your child grows up, what happens next? When your child on the spectrum grows up, what happens next? Not saying reload. Okay. Let me have to go over and do it this way. God, issues, you guys, issues. Okay, let's see. Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles, let's see. I'm going to send the link here. And Sammy, get off of my foot, please. Teresa. So, okay, let's see. Do we have add Mr. Charles? There you are. You figured it out, huh?
Hey, yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, how it
Awesome.
was is I had to go into settings. I had to figure this thing out. I went back to making, uh, what do you call? I can't even think of it. I took Chrome off of being my default and went back to I can't even think what it's called, but the default for Apple anyway, under that I had to fix that up so that it could use the camera.
Okay. Well, good. Glad you're here. Hey, Monique, Michigan State.
Yeah, that's what happened for me when I grew up.
Oh, okay. I'm at the point Justice is about to be. Oh, he's going to be grown.
Yeah.
Yes. DeAndre will be 20 in July. Hey, Kelly, how are you today? Yeah. Yeah, he was just over here begging for something.
Yeah.
He's a little sick. He came home from Dad's and he has the sniffles, so he may be staying home tomorrow from school. They only have 2 more weeks, this week and next week, and then school is out. But yeah, I thought it would be a great topic for us. And Mr. Charles, you can help out too here. What happens next when your child grows up over the age of 18? Um, we always talk about early diagnosis, therapies, school supports, but what about adulthood? What does care look like when your loved one is no longer that little child? So I want everybody who is here today, um, even if you have a young child and you have questions, put it in the chat. But if you have a loved one that's over the age of 18, help us out here. Share um, your thoughts of what happens next. What was your next move once your child turned 18? Mr. Charles, what happened with you
Yeah.
when you turned
Well,
18? We know you didn't have your diagnosis yet, but what did you do after you became an adult?
yeah. Well, I was 18 years old, 61 years ago, and when I turned 18, I was in my freshman year at Michigan State, and you
Okay.
know, um, I'll say that weekly visits to a couple of psychologists. We lived in Wilton, Connecticut, and just south of us is Norwalk, and a town where people used to jog everywhere. Their motto was, "In this town, we either run nor walk," and that's how that city got its name. But anyway, my mom and I went weekly to a pair of psychologists there. She would talk with one doctor while I talked with the other, and anyway, they helped me first of all deal with things at home, get along with people better, get along with my family better, and also help prepare me for college life.
Okay. And I want to welcome everybody who's coming in. As you come in, please make sure you like the live. If you can share it, I would appreciate it. Um, so let's talk about, and I want you guys to participate in the chat. Let's hear from you. Again, especially those of you who have children in that stage of life now, who have transitioned into adulthood. What is it like for you as a parent or caregiver? Um, Honestly, um, what is it really like for you caring for an adult? Is it the same? Is it different? Um, have your child achieved things that you didn't think were possible? Teresa says it won't let me click on. Oh, I don't know.
That's strange.
Yeah, let me try it again, Teresa. Let me try again. Okay, let me try. I'm gonna try one more time, Teresa. Put it in there in the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. Now that you got this, now that I got it working for me, this is great. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I'm still learning behind the scenes here. Try it and let me know if you're able to click on it, Teresa. Kelly says, I'm okay. Aurora gets older. I pray harder and hope to live longer. She will be 14 in July. Yeah, that's one um, worry. Um, our children get older, we get older. What happens to them then?
yeah,
Candy says, I got a topic with a parent that put a device in his hair, and parent found out by video planted in his hair was being abused. Yeah, we touched on that a couple days ago. That was very disheartening. Um, I I seen the video. The actual video was posted on another mom's page, and just listening, um, I can imagine how that mom is feeling. It's like every day we come on here and um, it's something's always happening to our children. I mean, what can we do? You're damned if you do. You want to trust people. You want to get your kids out there, but they're better off close to home.
Yeah, you got people who are supposed to be, helping kids instead of abusing them.
Right. Especially these teachers that or paraprofessionals or any educator. If you get into a field where you have to care for children, no matter their race, religion, color of their skin, um, you should have compassion for them all. Uh, and if you are not an empathetic, compassionate person, just a downright mean person, you shouldn't be in that field at all. At
And
all.
there are people who've gone into teaching or other professions that involve caring for children because they love children. And there are, on the other hand, people who've gone in because it's a job.
Yeah,
And
they
you
just
can
want that
quickly tell the
paycheck.
difference between the person who really cares about children and the person for whom it's a job.
Hmm. Candy says some colleges have disability service there to help community college. Yep, yep. So some of our adult babies are able to, um, like Mr. Charles, go get into college, and there are services that do help um, the kids who have difficulty. Maybe it's the socialization thing. Maybe the ADHD overtakes them. Um, maybe they just don't like being the socialization thing, being around and can't concentrate. But there are services within college if your loved one is college bound. So if that's something you are looking forward to, I would definitely check into some of these colleges. Kelly says, I noticed that the system changes quite a bit. As a parent or caregiver, things need to be in place, such as ID, waiver programs, and possibly making a will. Now, you say possibly making a will. I would say definitely, making a will. Yes, DeAndre. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going. Definitely, um, instructions should be left. What, DeAndre? Yes, we're going. Okay. But yes, we want to make sure that our babies have their identification. Thank you, Kelly. But we want to make sure our babies have their identification. That is important. Um, especially being out in the world and even not with small children, but even with adults, we need to be on task when it comes to them being around others or going places. If it's at all possible, make sure they know where they live, you know, that they can communicate some way, somehow, or show, you know, if they're lost or anything, they have identification on them. Programs, services for our adults seem to dwindle. Once they get a certain age, it's like it's either the list the wait list gets longer, it seems like, or they're just non-existent. And our adult babies need services too. So yeah, all of that. Teresa says, I don't see the link. Let me try again, Teresa, because I put it in there quite a few times. Here we go. I'm gonna put it here this time.
Yeah, no, that can be a problem too. Even when you're using StreamYard, sometimes you would put the link in the thing, and I just wouldn't see it. It just wasn't there when I looked.
Yeah, okay.
But
Let me know if you see it now, Teresa. If not, I'll go back and try to post it under your comment. Um, Too early for me to know. I hope Joshua is able to function on his own. Hey Spencer, how are you? Yeah, you never know, you know. It's always independent living is always an option. Um you start, training them to do certain things on their own as early as possible so they can be as independent as possible. And you never know. Um, just maybe you'll be able to get an apartment with a buddy, you know. Never know. Never
yeah,
say never.
well, my first apartment was by myself. I was lived there all by myself.
Did you, was it
Nobody.
scary for you, Mr.
No,
Charles?
it wasn't scary. I mean, it was a small apartment. It was called a bedroomette apartment. It was like a studio, except it had a little partitioned off bedroom. Uh,
Okay.
you
Turn
know,
that down.
and and so it was nice. I lived there a year and a half there, and it was 4 blocks away from where I worked, so I could walk to work every day.
Very convenient.
Yeah, and
Okay, there's Teresa.
yeah, it was nice. And then when I got married, then Judy and I lived in that apartment. Well, we lived in there actually a total of 2 weeks because we lived there one week. We went on our honeymoon for 2 weeks. We went back for one more week, and then we moved to a bigger apartment. It was more suitable for a couple.
Okay. Kelly says, I think about getting up in age and taking care of Jordan's everyday needs. I think I would have to have a nurse come in and help. Yeah, yep. And that's something that realistically we as older parents we need to make sure we have the list of things like right now while you're thinking about it, write that down. If you have somewhere in mind, look, I need a nurse. I have this information available. It's right there. Um, but yeah, that's stuff we need to stick to the refrigerator, because that time will come, when you need that help.
Hi, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa, you made it. Can you hear us? Spencer says, What's interesting, the ones you would least suspect to abuse never get investigated. The DFs, for example, is the Fs. If one of their own is abusing, DFs will cover it up instead of investigating and correct it. What is DFs?
Yeah, I can't hear what DF is either.
Yeah, well, if you're talking about like administration, yeah,
I,
they will
I'm not going to even venture a guess of what DF stands for.
yeah, they will
You know,
definitely, if it's in a school setting, just like that school with the child being abused, they didn't want that to come out. They didn't want that to come out at all because it puts a sore spot on them. But yeah,
yeah,
let us know what DFs mean. Teresa, can you hear us now? Teresa?
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, how
Hey,
I ask.
Danielle.
When somebody asks, "Can you hear me?" You know what I say? I say no.
How you been, Danielle?
Hey, Danielle.
Well, I was we're kind of between two topics here. Adults, what happens next, and also we're talking about um the video that surfaced of that. I guess he was a paraprofessional um who made derogatory remarks to that young man, and just it just wasn't disheartening.
Yeah. Well, I told you about the years ago. Somebody in this listserv group that I was this email group that I was in discovered online some teacher had put this thing called Tard Blog, which was about experiences with mentally disabled kids, and I was laughing at them, and the things tended toward the scatological too, and the whole thing was making fun of kids who are mentally challenged. Like the boy who was attending a birthday party and he misunderstood directions to the bathroom and ended up defecating in the punch bowl.
Oh
And
wow,
they're making a big joke about that. Things like that.
wow. Teresa, can you hear us? Teresa, can you hear us?
Teresa, speak to us.
Can you hear? Can you hear us? She's looking but not saying.
Maybe.
Um, Spencer says, my fear is if I pass away, Joshua by default goes back to his mom, which is not good. He will not be taken care of and was abused in her care. Now, Spencer, is all of that documented? Because if there's documented case of abuse, um, you may be able to direct guardianship to someone else. If you have that documented, there's a case, you can go down to the court and make sure that that does not happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I remember in Chicago one case. I don't know the details, what was behind it, but um, a woman died from cancer, and the father of her five children went and got the youngest children, and then her oldest child, her 19-year-old daughter, went to court and got custody of all her younger siblings. The father was ordered to bring them back, return them to the care of their oldest sister.
Oh wow.
And so there must have been something about him that was documented that, again, so the courts do honor that when there's clear
Abuse.
documentation of it.
Hmm. Kelly says, I'm trying to get into graduate school now for special education. Well, all right.
Yeah. All right.
I am an instructional aide now. I love working with the kids. My husband and I already talked about guardianship when something happens to us. I try to have them involved in her doctor appointments and IEPs so they can see firsthand. Yep. Great idea. Well, congratulations on graduate school, especially for
Yeah.
special education. Yep,
Oh yeah.
especially for special education. Um, Teresa.
Yes.
Okay, there you are.
All right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Speak to us.
Hi, William. How are you from College, Pennsylvania?
All right, where Penn State is.
Okay, DF's Division of Family Services or CPS. Okay, yeah, CPS is more familiar with. I'm familiar with that term. So DFS is Division of Family Service. Okay.
Yeah, I see. What he's saying then is that the people in Division of Family Services cover up for each other,
Oh yeah.
and that you see that in some police forces. You see it, in different places where there's this culture of covering up for each other. And with police they call it the blue wall of science, but it's blue wall of silence. But they have it in other cultures or organizations, other professions. You see, similar things.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, definitely awful, Danielle. Yeah, it's a shame they and as a human, why would you want to cover up for another human that is doing terrible things? I mean, what's going on up here?
Oh, what's going on up there? Often, even ones who want to do the right thing, fear of retaliation.
Yes, DeAndre, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Wait,
hi,
say
DeAndre.
hi.
Hi.
Hi, DeAndre. And then
Danielle says, I'm a multi generational care provider, and having every detail in order is a must. Yes.
there's also the
I,
fact that in some cultures,
don't,
snitching is the worst thing. Is considered the worst thing you can do, and that that can be another factor too. That some you're absolutely not supposed to snitch.
not supposed to. Right. Snitching is a bad thing. But if you're hurting another, you know, I guess that's again, that comes in with there should be no question. You shouldn't even have to think about if you see abuse going on, it should be. I know people. Some people are scared, but that's it's
I
just
think there
terrible.
too is a matter of how do you view the job you're in? Why are you in it? If you're in it because you love children, then there's a good chance you're going to report somebody. Of course, then again, it depends on does it end up getting handled, or is the person above you to whom you report it one who views it as just a job? Because if you love the job more than you love children, you're not going to snitch.
Danielle says, did they make a movie about this, Mr. Charles? Well, something you said, Mr. Charles.
I don't know what it was I said, but
um,
yeah,
I was abused. Spencer says I was abused by CPS. Oh no, and was a victim of Munchausen by proxy under CPS care. Really?
wow,
This was never investigated, all for profit. That's why I expose CPS now every chance I get. Wow.
yeah. And that's the thing, if you're,
I'm sorry. I went through that.
somebody in charge in CPS, somebody high up, there's a question: which do you love more, your job or children? If you love children more, you'll do the right thing. If you love your job more, you'll cover up wrongdoing.
So, Teresa, we're in between two different topics. Are you still there, Teresa? Is she frozen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Looks like she's
Looks
up
like.
in the Alaskan tundra somewhere.
Okay, so getting back to adults. When your child becomes an adult, what actually changes? Um, what what would you say, Mr. Charles, for yourself? What do you feel changed in your life?
Well,
And
I think
honestly,
it's the fact that now, obviously, as I grew up more, I was expected to take on more responsibility, and this is something too my dad pushed as I was growing up. The need of becoming more self-reliant, as he put it. Of being more independent and and so I think because my dad pushed it, that helped me too. That helped me to work on becoming more independent in terms of not being dependent on adults, not being dependent on other people.
yeah. Anybody else in the chat? Yeah, we love technology. Teresa, if you can hear us, you are frozen. You may have to log out and I may have to boot you out and then you come back in.
Maybe she's up in the Svalbard somewhere,
Let me see. I'm gonna.
or Novaya Zemlya, or in the northern reaches of Greenland.
Okay, let's see if she she comes back in. Um. So we know that. And like I said, please chime in the chat if you have some input. We know as adults, um, a child with autism grows up to be an adult with autism. It just does not go away. So their needs don't magically disappear either, right? Um, but again, the systems they change. What are you doing? Can you get out of there? Okay, I'm gonna make you some French fries in a minute. Okay, I'll make you some French fries. Okay, let's see. Teresa is back.
Yeah.
So let's see if she can hear us.
Or see if we can hear her. That's
All
more
right.
important. Yeah. Yeah. That's more. Is she unfrozen?
Yeah. What about managing money? Funny you should mention that. That is, well, one thing. Well, DeAndre's been working on that for the last couple years. But you know, DeAndre is level 3, so his understanding, he knows how to count it. But as far as managing money, he get his card. If I'm not there to supervise, he'll have a room full of cards and swords. But yeah, if they are at that point where they have a basic understanding of money and how to spend it, when to spend it, and what they should spend it on, then yeah, definitely, um, that should be part of a curriculum or something they do in therapy sessions, because that's important. Making sure they have their own money.
Yeah.
Kelly says, I believe the older Jordan gets, the less tolerable people can be. He isn't a cute little boy anymore. And like Mr. Charles said, the older kids are expected to be more responsible if possible. Yep, you are right about that. Yep, Kelly, I can agree with that, because when they're younger and they do certain things, oh, he's okay, or that's cute, or it'll be all right. And then if they get older and they're doing those same things, people are looking at them sideways, like not understanding this is part of their makeup.
I think one thing that helped me as far as the money goes was that as a young man, I had a cheapskate streak, and that was probably a good thing.
When you say cheapskate,
I
what you
tended to
mean?
be
You
a bit
didn't
of a
want to let
cheapskate.
go?
I tend to be a bit of a cheapskate, but that probably was a good thing because that kept me from being too free with money.
Okay. William says, what's the difference between one, two, three? Is
Yeah,
this a
and
joke,
it's
William?
yeah. The difference is degree of independence. That
Oh, you talking
or
about,
for a child,
okay.
it's kind of a prediction of how independent
Oh, wait. I'll
they
be right
think
back.
that child will be as an adult. How much independence the child will be able to handle as an adult, and it's subjective, and there's no clear demarcation. I can use the example. I think about Nita living in Detroit. You go across the Ambassador Bridge, and you cross the Detroit River, you're in Windsor. You're no longer in Detroit. You're in Windsor, Ontario, and the line between them is clear. Or you go northwest from Detroit, and you're in Southfield now, and when you cross the border between Detroit and Southfield, it's clear. But the line of demarcation between level 1 and level 2 autism is a fuzzy one, and same between level 2 and level 3. It's a rough assessment of how much independence a person uh, can handle as an adult, or you think that child is going to be able to handle as an adult. And so again, I mean, for me, you can confidently say I'm level 1 because you can look at my whole life, and I've lived independently. I'm married. I've raised a daughter. I'm now retired, but I had a 45-year career as a mainframe computer software engineer. All the things I've done, it's clear I've lived independently, uh, but the but for someone who's just embarking on their adult life, or someone who's still a child, the distinction is fuzzy. Yeah, high functioning is what we call level 1 now. Um, you know, and yeah.
Joshua is high functioning. I have him count money back to me. We play store, so it's fun and educational. Yep, great idea. Yep, great idea. Cheapskate, that's me. I teach Joshua how to shop for the best deals. What?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna get you one. He wants hot dogs. Um, so again, a lot of services drop off from school, and I'm having me some cheese and crackers, y'all. And suddenly, families are expected to figure things out on their own. It can be terrifying for both of us because now what our kids as children depended on no longer have that cushion. And William says, "Thank you, Mr. Charles."
Yeah.
They don't have that cushion to depend on. So here's a question for you guys. What? This is fine. You ate yours. What support does your loved one rely on right now? You guys in the chat, that won't exist in 5 years. So even if your child is uh, a young child, what support is very important? Here, DeAndre, because I gave you half the cheese and you done ate it all up. I'm not gonna have any. Boy, I tell you. What support right now, here, leave me alone, does your child rely on right now, today, that that won't exist, or that you think won't exist in 5 years? And you can add your input too, Mr. Charles. What supports do you think, listening to other parents, that a lot of kids rely on today that probably won't exist for them in the next 5 years?
Yeah, and I mean, I know that every locality, every here in the United States, every state has different laws, different provisions, different minimum ages and maximum ages for this and that and the other thing. And so there's and in other countries the answers are still different depending on where you live around the world. So it's there's no single answer to that, but there is the fact that what services are available, what disability services are available is the question. Because when you've got someone who's not going to be able to function independently as an adult, you know there's a problem there.
And Spencer says IEP. And I agree with, well,
Yeah,
especially with our current state. They want to remove a lot of things from IEP now as it is services. And some of the services they do include on an IEP are either just not available. You have to consistently fight for it. Good night, William. Thank you for popping in.
good night, William.
Spencer says Department of Education due to the current administration. Yep, yep. Kelly says it would be, it could be not being here. I would rely on my daughter. Jordan's dad is the next to care for Jordan without me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there you get point two that the political environment can affect what's available and what's not, and it's simply a fact that people that don't need a given service, you know, often don't understand the need for it, and so a politician can go to them and say, "Hey, we're throwing away all kinds of money on this. We need to get rid of it," and people who don't need that service agree, yeah, let's get rid of it. It's a waste of money.
So yeah, there's that shift. They want to, well, the responsibility when they're younger is, let's just say, both the caregiver and the system. But when they become adults, that responsibility shifts, and they, now it's all on the parents to decide what to do and what not to do. Now I know Spencer touched on he would like his son to live independently. So, and DeAndre is just, he's just not. Some questions, because they have programs in some states um, to to help, but then some questions to ask ourselves: Will they be able to live independently? Can they get a job? Should they get a job? You know, what are your thoughts on that? Now, with Mr. Charles, a level one, it's not that complicated. But when we get start talking to those that level two, level three, and I'm gonna choke this little boy.
Well, part of it, of course, when you get into level two, level three, you obviously the job is it makes
Here,
something that will give them a chance to contribute productively somehow, but it's not going to give them total independence. For me, the biggest problem getting that first job was interviewing. You have to get past the interview and not having the interviewing skills, not having even what people consider common sense when it comes to what to say and not to say during an interview, how to act during an
come
interview.
here. Don't go down there.
Finally, one guy at an employment agency sat me down and gave me a whole bunch of pointers and told me basically everything I've been doing wrong in the interviews, and that helped me eventually to land my first job. But
That's
that's one of
good.
the problems though, is getting past the interview.
Okay.
Because if they don't think you can you can be of value to the company,
Mhm.
guess what? You're not going to get a chance to prove that you can be of value to the company.
Now, I know there was a talk before. I know, I believe it was a young lady that mentioned it. Should you, and I know you didn't realize your diagnosis at the time, Mr. Charles.
Hot dog.
Right.
But should you let your employer know that you are on the spectrum? What are your thoughts on that? I'll be right back so I can put this boy's hot dogs in there. But I can hear you, Mr. Charles.
Okay.
What are your
That
thoughts about
that's
revealing?
something that's something I think you have to use your discretion on. I don't think there's a size fits all answer to that. And in one workplace, it may be important for them to know, and they, and in fact, that may help them to get some corporate benefit or something if they can say, hey, we employ disabled people, and we make accommodations for them. At another company, you know, you don't want them to know that. It also depends on the autistic individual, because maybe some individuals may have to let them know, because there are going to be things about that person that are just going to seem so weird, so out there, if the employer doesn't know the reason for those things, that that person's just not going to last long at the job, at any job. So, like I say, there's no one size fits all answer to that as to whether you should tell the employer or not.
Okay. What are you guys' thoughts in the chat? You have to wait till it gets ready. There is no way Jordan could be on his own. I don't think a group facility would be good fit either. I know this doesn't sound realistic, but I hope a family member can come in and take care of him. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel you, Kelly. I really do. I really do. Yeah, the same. My thoughts with DeAndre. There's no way with you know the way I know his behaviors are. There is no way he could be uh, on his own, even with somebody coming to check on him. Periodically. There's no way someone would have to be with him 24/7. Um, and
yeah.
he is steady tapping me. Can you wait? Yeah, we'll go to Myers tomorrow. No, we got to go to Myers Wednesday. We're going to go grocery shopping Wednesday, okay? Okay. Um, Spencer says, my buddy's son was involved in a horrible car accident. Oh, I'm so sorry. He has to be basically living in a hospital. He had severe autism before the accident. Now, after the accident, severe brain damage. Oh, I'm so sorry. He's very violent now. With them taking away these services, it's very bad for him. Yes. Yes. So he has it twice as difficult. So sorry to hear that. We have a person in my job. He's autistic. He's our quality control. He's very good with attention to detail. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I say there's no one size fits all answer to that, because in some cases, it's a good
You
thing
would
to let them know, and it depends on the job and it depnds on the person.
you think they would maybe the individual probably would worry about them treating them differently or funny or you
Yeah,
know
that's why
something.
I say there's no one size fits all answer, because one thing with the person that depends on, because some cases there's going to be things about the person that are just, people are going to notice how much that person stands out, how some things that are just going to strike others as plain weird, and that would make it difficult for the person to hold on to any job if people didn't know the reason behind those things.
Yep. So you definitely, like you said, it would be up to the individual.
And again, some jobs where it's good for them to know, where it will be helpful to the person. Other jobs where it's better than that they don't know, because it's going to cause them to treat the person badly, or some new boss gets in, and he's just going to say, we don't need an autistic person around here, he's canned.
Hmm. Let me go get his hot dog. Keep it going, Mr. Charles. I'll be right back.
I had to
Talk about some independent stuff.
move my device over, plug it in, because it was down to 10%. So my iPad, so it's now up to 14% again. So um, I had to move it so I could plug it in here. But yeah, that depends. Of course, only my last employer was aware of my autism. That's only after I got my diagnosis. That was CA Technologies. I worked for them for just shy of 24 years until my retirement. And so, and of course, it was during the time I worked for them that I got diagnosed. So none of my previous employers knew about it. And of course, I never heard of autism until I was over 30. That was an expression I was unfamiliar with. And then it wasn't until I was 49 that I got diagnosed that I finally came to realize that that term applied to me. But and I've done focused lives here where I've explained about what the process that led me to my diagnosis. So I can relate that again. Anybody wants to know, but yeah, that's the thing. So if you can, so some can handle independence, others can handle a measure of it, others can't handle independence. Period. And that's the thing. That's essentially the difference between level 1, 2, and 3. Is the degree of independence that the individual can handle. But unfortunately, any comments or questions that are being entered right now, I can't see. I gotta wait till Nita comes back to for any answers to those. But uh, yeah, hopefully she'll be back in a minute. Making hot dogs for DeAndre. That reminds me of when I was a little kid. My mom used to listen all the time to WQXR, which was a highbrow radio station, classical music station affiliated with the New York Times. And one ad they ran on there was an ad for Goulden's Rich Prepared Mustard. And the ad said, tell your chef to put Goulden's Rich Prepared Mustard in your meat before cooking. And they, I'm sure, had in mind, gourmet cuts of meat. But because of that commercial, I insisted that my mom put Goulden's Rich Prepared Mustard on my hot dogs before cooking. And so, anyway, that's what that reminded me of, the hot dogs. I'm going to move this back over to the stand because now it's at least out of low power mode, 19%. If it gets back down to 10%, then I'll move it back. Okay, there you are.
Here I am. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Spencer says, our guy at my job, he's always playing with the drinking straw, but we understand he's paid no mind. Okay.
Yeah.
So so you guys know and you guys know his way of stimming. I guess that what you would call it.
Yeah.
Danielle says they need accommodations, standing desks so they can stim. That's a good idea. Bouncing chairs, frequent breaks, etc. Yes. I know when DeAndre worked last summer, I did have to. I think the girl really didn't. She wasn't quite the girl that was there the day that this particular day that I came in. She was familiar with autistic individuals because that's who they host for the summer job programs, but she wasn't familiar. So I had to let her know, you know, uh, make sure he's able to get up. If you see him stimming like this, he'll need to stand up, you know, because she kind of made me mad when I asked about him eating. I said, well, she said, well, I told him it was lunchtime, so I don't know. So you're not paying attention to the kids. But see, he's level 3. You can't just say, okay, he knows it's lunchtime to go get his bag, but are you actually paying attention? Yeah. But those are some good ideas. Definitely frequent breaks.
Yeah, again, what accommodations somebody needs depends on the person. Yeah, she was commenting about how my mom put Gould's prepared mustard on hot dogs when she made hot dogs for me, and she
Oh,
put it on before cooking.
oh, before cooking.
Yeah, because mom used to listen to a classical music radio station in New York, very highbrow station, and one commercial on that was a commercial for Gould's Rich Prepared Mustard, and they said, "Tell your chef to put Gould's Rich Prepared Mustard on your meat before cooking." Of course, they had in mind gourmet cuts of meat,
Mm.
and but I heard that, and then so uh, I was familiar with putting mustard on hot dogs. So
Okay. So, what are um, activities now that you have an adult and DeAndre's doing his dancing there? What activities keep your loved ones calm? What is something calming for you, Mr. Charles, while I go get my coffee? I'll be right back.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know, hugging and kissing Cindy. That's one thing. That's calming for me. I enjoy watching TV. There's some online games I play. Like I do all the New York Times. There's several New York Times word puzzles that I do, and I compare notes daily with my daughter and my granddaughter-in-law on these puzzles because they do them too, and we compare notes on how we did on them, so on. That's one thing too that I'll do.
Yeah, Danielle sent had to make sure he had his little snack for the night. Um, so anybody else was calming for your adult adult kids or adult loved ones? So Spencer, if you're still here, do is he allowed a flexible schedule? Do they accommodate him, or he just comes to work? So, and should they be allowed a flexible schedule? Um, Jordan loves his Disney music players. He loves going to his room, all decorated in the Grinch, to watch SpongeBob. I like that.
Okay.
Decorated in the Grinch, but loves to watch SpongeBob. That's awesome. DeAndre's common thing is um right now is his STEM dance. Sports for Daniel. Okay. Relaxing things. Yeah, DeAndre is scrolling through his music doing his jump dance right now. And here he comes. So now, all of you, when was the last time you checked in on yourself? We know burnout is real, and ignoring it doesn't make you any stronger. It just makes you more depleted. Support groups, respite care, therapy, small breaks. Remember, you guys, that matters. And no, you are not selfish for needing them. So, when was the last time you guys had a self care moment? And can you share it with us? Maybe you'll give another mom an idea. What do you do, Mr. Charles, for self care?
No, I mean, I just, I'll take a nap when I need to. I'll, you know, take a nap. Of course, I do my grooming and everything. I mean, basically that's what I do. Whatever I have to do, take care of myself, have my meals and what have you. Now tonight, I got a break from fixing dinner because we had dinners we picked up yesterday that Cindy has a friend. Her friend Lisa sometimes fixes these barbecue dinners, and she sells them for a reasonable price. So we buy a couple of them from her, and so that's what we had tonight.
Did you eat your hot
Uh,
dog?
she's the one that had us over the time of fixing. We were playing bid whist, and anyway, she picks Dee Dee for everyone, but because she knew I don't do tomatoes, she picks me chitlins.
Ugh.
Yum.
No chitterlings. Okay, we're gonna go Wednesday. I still buy them Legos and sketchbooks drawing. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Keeps them calm. But what do you do for yourself? What's a moment of self care? What does that look like for you, Danielle, Kelly, Spencer, Teresa, if you're still here, and anyone else, if you're in the chat, let us know what self care looks like for you. Kelly says Jordan has to have his music player in his ear, and for myself, I go thrifting for antiques. Okay. Love to wander the small shops. It's calming and always
Allows me to think.
allows me. Oh, Marie, allows me to think about being a kid for a moment. That's awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Danielle, he just keeps tapping me. He wants to go to Myers. We're not going to Myers until what? Huh? Going to Myers Wednesday. Yeah, we going to the grocery store Wednesday. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You just remind me about when I was at Michigan State, and I senior year of Michigan State. I remember that Sunday evening was one meal that the residence halls didn't provide, and so on Sunday evenings, my friend Bob would come over, and he and my roommate Mehmet and I would go out to, I think it was a Myers store, it was a grocery store near campus, and
Okay.
we would pick up uh, Italian bread, loaves of Italian bread, and you pick up, cream cheese and kosher salami. And Mehmet wondered, does that salami have pork in it? And I said, no, it doesn't have pork in it. It's kosher salami. If it had pork in it, Bob wouldn't want to eat because Bob was Jewish. And so,
Oh, okay.
anyway, Mehmet, of course, is Muslim. And And so, anyway, we took them back and we made ourselves sandwiches with the Italian bread, the kosher salami, and the cream cheese.
Okay. So we're over our hour mark, but I have two last questions for you guys. What's been the hardest part of supporting your loved one into adulthood? And what's something that's gone better than you expected? Hey, Katrina, how are you?
Hi, Katrina.
So, once again, what's been the hardest part of supporting your loved one into adulthood? And what's something that's gone better than you've expected? Because sometimes we forget to celebrate. We stay focused on what went wrong, but celebrate everything.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be, yeah, where were you at? We missed you. I have a 14-year-old son on the spectrum. Okay.
Hey.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Uh,
Welcome to the group, Katrina. Yeah. I
where,
was,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, 65 years ago, I was where your son is now.
Can you stop tapping me, please? That hurts. Okay, we're going to Myers Wednesday. Today is Sunday. We're not getting in Mommy's Jeep. We're going to get in Mommy's Jeep on Wednesday. You're going to go to therapy, and we're going to go to the grocery store, okay? Okay. Okay, thank you. Eat, 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 eat. So, Katrina, we're at the end of our live, but we're here every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you are more than welcome to join us. Okay, well, make sure you call. Make sure you call Danielle. Kelly says no freedom to come and go as most friends. Yeah, I was at a rough place when I got pregnant with Jordan. I can't imagine what my life would be without him. Same here.
Yeah.
Even though things can be the good, the bad, the ugly, I couldn't imagine being without my DeAndre. Even right now, as he's bugging the hell out of me. Yeah, I may try to come on early tomorrow for a check in and chat for a few moments. Now, DeAndre was sniffling. Seems like, I don't know. One minute he seems sick, and the next minute he doesn't. But yeah, Katrina, I might be on for a check in and chat. If you're around sometime tomorrow afternoon, you are more than welcome to join us anytime we come live. Uh, Danielle says, DeAndre, went to Westbourne. Meyer is big too. Westbourne Meyer is, oh, it's too big.
Yeah.
He doesn't need anything bigger than what we got right here on Grand River. God is my biggest support.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. All right, you guys. Thank you for the conversation. I will try to come up with a new topic for next Sunday for us. This was another great discussion. I appreciate you all. On your way out, make sure you hit that love button, thumbs up. Well, Jordan is giving me the look being in his room, but he has no problem being in my room. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
How does that work? Yeah,
Good
this
night,
Michigan weather
everyone.
is crazy, isn't it?
Well, here in Connecticut, it got up to 29 today.
Celsius, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was a nice day here too.
Yeah.
But okay, you guys. We lost Teresa this evening. I guess she was having phone issues. But we will see you all same place, same time next week for a topic. I may come in just for a check-in and chat tomorrow afternoon. But I'll see you guys when I see you. Thank you. Make sure you thumbs up on your way out.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.